welcome back. My name's Sous Chef. You're watching FSP. And what we're going to do today is this beautiful rabbit that we shot a couple days ago with the bow and arrow. What we're going to do is a spring braised rabbit. And the ingredients that you're going to need today, very light, very simple, goes with the weather. First, you're going to need all-purpose flour, nothing special. Some puree of tomatoes here, some chicken stock, unsalted butter, English peas, medium diced San Marzano tomatoes, just regular salt, smoked pancetta, or you can use bacon as well if you could, and we have some Videla onions, which is sweet mountain onions. So what we're going to do is, first thing off, we're going to take this rabbit and we're going to break this rabbit down. As you can see, we've already skinned it and got it fabricated for today. So it's ready to go. Washed and clean, got all furs off, the hairs and everything. Alright, so the first step here is going to use a boning knife. Today I'm going to use a straight edge utility knife. So what you want to do is, you want to pretty much place the rabbit facing you this way, faced up, and you're gonna move this along here. Just kind of snap the legs apart, like it's doing a little split. You're gonna take this knife and you're gonna cut around the edge right here. And then you're gonna go around with here, this edge, and you're gonna cut around. Get this out of the way. You're going to come around and you're going to cut around right here on this edge as well, just like so. Once you have the serration there and you score it, you're just going to pop the bones apart. You'll hear a snap, and you can see here the bones are out of its socket, and you're going to do the same exact thing to the other side. You see the bones are popped out of the socket. Now what you want to do is take your knife and just ride it right along the area here. Just like so. And what we have is the back legs. We're going to put that to the side. We'll work with that here in a little bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open him up, and what we're going to do is we're going to take off these two kidneys, as you can see here. And I've already prepared a few rabbits before and saved them from our last hunting trip. And what we're going to do is we're going to cook all these at the same time. We have some hearts here, as you can see, and some kidneys. And these are going to be our little snacks while the rabbit is being braised. So, next part, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the rabbit and we're going to cut off this rib meat here. And usually I'll take this rib meat, I'll make stir fries out of them, cut in little strips, deep fry them, it's up to you. But stir frying these with some bell peppers, onions, carrots, and celery, delicious. We'll work with that in another episode. Try your best not to cut into the loin. The loin here is what we're going to keep and use for our braising. The front legs here, I usually like to start from the top side here and work my way down, but we're not going to work with that today. What we're going to do is grab our butcher knife, kind of move things over here a little bit, and if you're afraid to do a hard chop, you can always just push down, and it's off. And we'll set this little guy to the side as well. We'll work with the front legs another day. And the same thing with the back side. If you're afraid of doing a hard chop, just kind of place it exactly where you want it to go. Just give it a couple of bangs, and if it's not fully parted, you can give it a couple of chops, and voila. We're going to throw this little guy to the side as well. And now what we're going to do is, since we have two back legs, we want to take the back part and we're going to chop that into two pieces so you have two servings. This one here, you can do the same exact way. Find your little spot here in the center, and push down. And now you have two even pieces. take care of that later. What we're gonna do is we're not gonna pre-salt our rabbit. Reason being, since our braising liquid is gonna have plenty of salt from the smoked pancetta, as well as from the regular salt. So what we're gonna do is just regular flour this, and all-purpose flour that I showed you earlier. You can use the back parts here, the 2 pieces, and kind of roll them around. Make sure they're fully coated with flour, and you can kind of pat them so make sure the flour sticks nice and tight. And we're gonna just go ahead and set to the side here. Make sure it's fully coated because we want that nice crispness once we pan fry it. And then we're going to go to the back legs. There's one back leg there. Pat all the excess flour off so we don't have excess flour in our pan burning. Here's the next one. Pat it off, get the excess flour away. I'm going to set that as well. I'm going to set this to the side. And now for the innards. This is what I call them, the innards here. We have rabbit kidneys and rabbit hearts. I'm just going to go ahead and pour all that in. This one here you can kind of play with a little bit. You know, there's a bunch of little pieces in there. What we really want to do is try to get all of them nicely dusted, covered up with flour. And we're just going to toss it in our hands here a little bit. Kind of like a back and forth motion. There you have it. That's the first step. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we got a little nice rondo going on here. We're going to go ahead and start this bad boy up. And we're going to start off with the high. And I got straight extra virgin olive oil. It's Macordo here from Central Valley of California. So what we're going to do is we're going to put quite a bit in here. Reason being is because we're going to pan fry this. Make sure we get it nice and crispy. As you guys know before, what we're doing is we're going to be starting off with the innards here, the kidneys and the hearts. We're going to have this as a nice little treat while the rabbit's going to be braised. Rabbit's going to be braised for about 45 minutes. You're going to be rotating every 15 minutes or so it cooks evenly in the liquid. We're just going to wait until this gets nice and hot. I have everything peculiar in its own order. You can not worry about the peas and the butter because that's going to go in there last after it's braised. But we're going to work with everything else here. Okay? So we're just waiting for this to get hot. And in order to test it, what you can do is get your old flour that you had before and just take a small little pinch and just kind of dab it in there. If you see it popping and pretty much smoking, then it's ready. As you can tell, there was no effect when it went in there. It just kind of soaked up the oil. So we're going to give it maybe another 30 seconds to a minute until this oil gets extremely hot. And the reason being is we want that nice crispness cooking into the innards. We don't want to be poaching it in hot oil. What we want to do is pan fry this bad boy. Alright, let's go and test our flour again. Make sure it's nice and hot. There you go. As you see it popping, that's the effect that we want to see before we start dropping anything in there. Because you don't want to drop it and poach your innards here because we want a nice crispiness. So what we're going to do is you can either use your tongs as so, but faster way, I'm just going to use my fingers. And always lay down and push far away from you because we don't want any accents so the oil splashes away from you. And throw them in there just like so. Oh yeah. I wish you guys could smell this right now because it is smelling good and popping. This one there. Alright. What we're going to do is called a shake effect. Kind of give it a nice little shake so we don't have anything sticking to the bottom of the pan. And just kind of give it a pop. And as you can see, there's some that tossed over. The one that didn't toss over, you can go with your tongs and just flip them over. And be very careful. As you can see, it's popping right now because it's moisture that's inside of there. It's releasing into the hot oil. Please be careful with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little bit of parchment paper. I'm going to use this as a lining for our little bowl. Kind of soak up the excess oil. We don't want it swimming in oil while we take it out. And of course, you know, you pick and choose what you see is done. Nice and crispy golden brown. You know, nice and crispy golden brown as so. Take those bad boys out first. And we'll leave the rest inside for now. Oops, careful, careful. Those are the accidents that we're trying to avoid here in every kitchen. Okay. And once you take all these out as so, which we're almost done here, I'm going to turn this flame off and we'll come back to you here in a second. What we're going to do now is, while it's still nice and wet from the hot oil, we're going to let that parchment soak it up just a tad bit. And now we're going to go and shake it off just like so. And we're going to take a little bit of salt here. And we're going to toss it right in there, so. Just like that. And now, with this parchment paper, as you can see, it soaked up some of that oil. We're just going to fold it over just like so and reuse. Save a couple trees out there. We're going to do this. And we'll transfer this. And we're going to use this dirty bowl later for the used up oil. And this is our nice little snack. Hey, so where's those beers at, man? Come on. Come on over.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
The chef's got to try first, right?
Nice. I love the hearts.
Alright, crunchy. So these are the appetizers?
Mmm. Oh, gosh, that's good. Still a little bit hot, but in my opinion, it does not taste like chicken. It's got its own taste. Definitely better than chicken gizzards and hearts. The kidneys itself, which are these, to me just kind of melts in your mouth, just like soft butter.
I just hate the kidney. Oh, I think just like it's so good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is good.
It's good. So tender.
And for all you mom people out there, some cold sauce and peanut butter sauce, that's great with this.